Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon. Welcome to our monthly An- Anansi Tech Community meeting, rescheduled meeting. Welcome all for showing up today. We appreciate you being here. Today we'll wait for others to arrive. Look like everyone's here. That's going to be here. Those late struggles, they will be here. I'm Harry Carter, COO of NCT Tech. This is my tech team. We're presenting the Nancy Tech Community team. A little bit about ourselves. We are trying to create a community in Ghana where so everyone be able to adapt to new technology going towards the future. This is a platform where we're using to try to communicate the masses. It's free. We advise you all to spread the word. Use your LinkedIn company page if you want to tweet out on our LinkedIn company page. You want to send out links and things about this community call as it's going on. But during the week, during the times where you're around your friends or other people, let them know we want to grow this community. It's free, and people has phones, and learning is nothing. It's not. It's free to learn. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for speakers that's among us. So as we grow, we would like for some of you guys to volunteer to speak. Speaking to each other, spreading your knowledge is how we grow. So we would like to ask some of you guys to volunteer to speak. You can use the hashtag this what's this thing called? Well, I lose my brain all of a sudden. What is this thing called, Nikki? Yeah, the QR code. Use our QR code to register for speakers. Today we have some community announcements. We had the African Business Heroes. Is an in-person place in Accra. Is on Friday, April the 12th, 5 p.m. It's going to be Ghana to the world, exploring made in Ghana products and selling them globally. That should be really interesting. You got the MSP community call. That is Tuesday, April the 23rd at 9 p.m. And then we have the Policy, Finance, and Technology for 3i Africa Summit. That's the 13th and the 15th of May. That's in Accra and International Conference Center. So let's try to support them and make it to that. So we're gonna get this thing started. Today we have two wonderful speakers. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I'll introduce the speakers after the short video. All right, everyone. For some reasons, because I'm presenting today, the video don't want to act right. So we'll go right off into our speakers for today. Our speakers for today to start with Nakia Carter. co-founder of 9C Tech Community. She'll be speaking today on SharePoint and Admin Center. And I have a good friend, Eric Wafi. He's the CEO of Tech for Everyone. And he'll be speaking today on that Baobab. Is that how you pronounce that platform? Unleashing the potentials of young African leaders. That will be very interesting. So, without further ado, let's get started.
All right, folks. So I'm about to jump into some SharePoint admin training. This topic today is going to be on the SharePoint Admin Center. Before we did M365 admin, and now we're going to go and explore the other admin centers as we go along in the next few months. So the first one we're going to go over is the SharePoint Admin Center. And if you go to the next slide, when you all receive this deck through the community, it will be posted in the community and you will be able to get to the recording and everything, but you'll also be able to get to this deck and you'll be able to get to this link. This link is official Microsoft training for admins of SharePoint. I highly recommend that you go to this link, check it out, bookmark the link as a reference for you going forward, especially if you're in SharePoint as administrator or even as a developer. This is very important skills. These are very important skills to know. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump into this. Okay, can I have some thumbs up to let me know that you can see my screen? Yeah, okay, good, cool. All right, so first things first. I'm going to be looking up because my screen's up here. So when I'm looking up, that's where I'm looking. So first things first. Right now, I'm in the Office 365 or M365, Microsoft 365 homepage. I went to office.com. I signed it with my credentials, and I landed on this page. Then I went to the admin center here. Now, if you don't have admin access, you need to be a global admin or some other type of admin that will give you access to the admin center. If you don't have it in your tenant, it's because you're not an admin. So it's best for you to try this in your dev tenant, especially since you can get your own dev tenant. And I believe we have that in the end of the this talk today. We have the QR code for you to get your own dev tenant. But anyway, you want to try this in dev, poke around in your dev, especially if you don't have access where you're working. But you click on the admin button right there, and that opens up this admin center. This is the general M365 admin center we talked about last month, or Office 365 admin center. And here's the left navigation. As you can see, it's a bit truncated. If I click on show all, you can see all of the different parts that we went over last month and the admin centers. And there are even more admin centers than just these that are showing. These are the main ones. We are going to look at the SharePoint admin center today. So when you click on that, it ends up opening another tab. So usually you get another tab that gets opened every time you go to any place. When you go to another admin center, it opens up another tab. So you'll have the other tabs to be able to go back to if you ever need to. So let's look at this admin center. So as you can see here, it says right here, I'm in the SharePoint admin center. This is the control center for SharePoint. And on the left navigation, I have a few things, but again, it's truncated. So if I click on the show all, well, actually it wasn't truncated. which is a little bit weird. But it was saying show all, and then it didn't show anything else. But these are the things that are available to you. You have the ability to customize the navigation. There are more features, which I'll click on in a minute. There's some advanced things like API access. Now, we won't get into these more advanced things. We're going to talk about the basics of the SharePoint Admin Center, but I want you to know that these things are here. There's reports, data governance access. Data access governance is very important. You need to make sure that your data is secured properly when you're an admin, and that the governance policies are in place. You have your migration. Whoops, I didn't mean to click on that one. Well, might as well start clicking on. You have your migration managers, which give you some options for migrating from different places to SharePoint. So you have like the ability to go from some file shares to from Box, from Stream Classic to the new stream on SharePoint, Dropbox, things like that. Also migrating from older SharePoint that was on-prem. Now, migrating SharePoint Online to SharePoint Online, there are no tools for that. Microsoft has not provided any tools for that. That's something that you'll either need to do manually, and there's quite a few ways to do it manually, or preferably use a tool like ShareGate or AvePoint. We prefer ShareGate, although AvePoint isn't bad either. We've used both tools. You have some content services here. So if you get to the point where you need to, you're using metadata across your SharePoint. Metadata basically means data about data. It's the columns that are being referred to in your SharePoint lists and libraries. That's what they kind of translate to. But if you need something a little bit more robust that will go across all site collections, no matter which site collection you create, because those columns, when you create them locally, they're local to the list or library. Then you can create them as site columns, which will be local to the site collection. But if you go to the term store and you put those metadata tags into the term store, then they're usable across all of your site collections. You also have the site content gallery. Actually, I'll probably click on some of these things like I just said a second ago, where you can create content types. Now, that's another discussion for another day, and we will be having that discussion. But content types are ways of grouping up metadata, and sometimes with files or, different files, whether it's a picture or a document. Grouping together that that content together so that it becomes something that's reusable over and over and over again. Think of let's say, for example, leave request form that might be a SharePoint list in one department of a company's site. Now, this is a huge company, so they have big departments. So only one department is using this. All the rest of the departments aren't using it. All of a sudden, all the rest of the departments want this. They need this. They want it yesterday. If the list is recreated as a content type and is made at this level, then it can be pushed to every department's SharePoint site collection. And once you make changes to it, all those changes are automatically flow to all the places where it was implemented. So that's what content types do. But this is what those content services are. We have settings. These settings, one of the things that you really might want to know about settings is the home site. This home site, for those of you who are already SharePoint admins or devs that deal in this sort of thing, if you've been wondering where to set up your home site for Viva Connections, this is where it is. This is where you set it. This is where someone's off mute. So can you please mute yourself so we don't have a whole bunch of background noise? Thank you. This is where, let me see. This is where you could set the home site as well for it to just take over as a home site as well. So we were on the settings. Let's look at policies. This is another like really important place to go. And this is um, the sharing functionality for the entire site SharePoint as a whole. Any site collection that you have, these are the general settings that control all of that. Now, you can set specific settings for sharing on each site collection, which I will show you in a little bit. But let's look at this. So, external sharing, making sure that data that should not leave the confines of your company's tenant, stay within the bounds of your company's tenant, and are not shared outside to people that shouldn't have access. For certain companies, they will want to be a little bit more restrictive than we have it set here. Now, I'm in my demo tenant, so this isn't our actual settings, but sometimes people are good with everyone being able to have everyone being able to send links to anyone to share out different pieces of data from the company if it's public domain data that's supposed to be shared out. But some companies don't want anything to be shared out because that's the way that company runs, or certain site collections are set up so that um, the permissions are more strict there so that only certain people can get into there, and also data cannot be shared outside. So take, for example, the leadership or executives team or in their SharePoint behind the scenes. That would need to be very well secured to make sure data doesn't get into the wrong hands. So there's the settings there. You could set them for SharePoint and for OneDrive. Then there's some more external sharing settings, like being able to limit sharing, external sharing by domain, like saying only certain domains can share. You could share to only certain domains. So like if you have a vendor or a partner that your company is working with, maybe only being able to share things externally with that company or with those companies. Allowing guests to share items that they don't own, things like that, allowing users to, in specific security groups, to share externally. So only the CEO can share and the CTO, maybe only the C-suite people can share externally and everybody else is restricted. Then there's the files and folders links. So you can choose which types that you want. Which types do you want to be selected by default? So when a person goes to do the share, would it be automatically an everyone link and they would need to change it to one of these? Or do you want it to be start off as only specific people or only people in the organization? And then they are able to change it to maybe the anyone link if the external sharing permissions are permissible for that, set to that permissible standard. So that's the default link. Same thing here. By default, can people by default send links that are edit or view? I normally like to change these to view because edit, of course, allows people to edit the thing. And a lot of times people don't realize that that's the link that they're sending. And then some people don't realize when they actually open the link that you sent them that what you sent them is editable, or that you didn't mean for them to edit it and they start editing it. So usually I like to start with the least permissive one. So I normally would change it to something like that. And then I also like this section, being able to set when links must expire. That can be very, very important for data that needs to go out, but shouldn't stay out there forever. Shouldn't give a person a forever access to that content. So setting when the link expires, and then making sure that person knows if the link that's being sent is one where they can download, that they only have 5 days, so they better download whatever it was that was sent. But that can make security a bit better. Then there's the links that can give permission. So Do you want that to only be for files, view and edit, or only view? Or for folders, allow only view? I normally, in these cases, allow both. But again, I normally set the default to say the least permissive thing. That way, somebody has to change it if they wanted something a little bit more permissive for the person that they're sending it to. And then there's these other settings at the bottom, like showing the showing the owner names of the people who view the files in your OneDrive, and the short links for sharing your files and folders and such. For your access control, like you can manage your unmanaged devices that are accessing things, your IP address, allowing access from only certain IP addresses, things like that, restricting OneDrive access. So there's some other controls here. Now let's get into the real nitty gritty. We're going to talk about this deleted sites in a second. Well, actually, no, we won't. Most likely won't come back here, but I do want to show this part. Once a site is deleted, it can be reactivated. You can restore it, or you can permanently delete it. Now, if you permanently delete it, of course, it will be permanently deleted. So if you permanently delete it, make sure you meant to permanently delete it. But the other thing to know is that sites are retained for 93 days. So that's a little bit more than 3 months. So if you delete a site or somebody deletes a site and, oh crap, now we need to put it back, hopefully it's in the recycle bin and you can retrieve it. If not, you might need to reach out to Microsoft and see if they can retrieve it, but sometimes they can't. It's like a certain period of time, and I think they actually charge for that service too. So you want to be very careful about what you're deleting and how long it stays in this deletion space if you didn't mean to delete it. All right. I'm going to skip over this active sites thing and just go to home real quick, and then we'll go back to the active sites. So let's look at the home. There are pieces here that would be helpful to you as far as statistics and being able to see how things are going. So you can extract information from files. You can see this recommendation. Well, Microsoft's syntax will automatically extract and classify things, and you can see how that will work. But the things I really want to point out here are not necessarily the site search or the unread messages, but the activities. There are times where you may be asked by your leadership, so are people actually using SharePoint? Maybe we need to help people, maybe we need to help people understand that there's this resource here that they can use. And you could come and say, yeah, people are using SharePoint. Oh, no, people not really using SharePoint. And you could start trying to remedy the situation. So it can be helpful to know what's going on from some of the stats that you can see on this page. This page is also modifiable, just like the home page of the M365 or the Office 365 Admin Center. So you can add other pieces of information, other different cards that give you other pieces of information if you haven't added them already and if you need them. Okay. So now let's look at the active sites, because this is the main thing that you are going to be doing as a SharePoint admin. And that's worrying about looking after creating and deleting sites. So as you can see, this is our demo tenant. So we have quite a few site collections in here already. But this is where we can manage all of our site collections. These are the ones that are active. We can see how much data we have available across our SharePoint sites and team sites, teams collectively, because Teams has SharePoint behind the scenes. All the data is kept in SharePoint. So you normally get about a terabyte. Well, it looks like a little bit more than a terabyte of data. Some companies may have bought more data. There's ways to buy more data. So their data might be different than this, but it should be around 1 terabyte or more for most companies, or for pretty much all companies, actually. Okay. So now here's our sites. I can create a new site. If I go to create a site, I have a few different options here. This out of the way. Okay. I have a team site. And for those of you who have been in SharePoint, don't let this fool you into thinking this is like the classic team site. This is not. This is the modern team site. The team site is based on an Office 365 group that has its own special look and feel. Also, the behind the scenes is the modernness. So the site settings, you don't have as many settings as you would for a classic team site, but that is starting to not be a thing that's needed anymore. So this is the modern team site. And then you have your communication sites, which are, it's a site that it gives you this are very visual. It's lots of big picture type web parts on the page. It's more about communicating messages as opposed to sharing content or collaborating on a project or something like that. So it's a bit different. But then you also have, and I won't really go into these other things. We've already talked about the migration manager. We saw it over here. The SharePoint syntax content center was what the homepage was referring to when it said to get started with Microsoft Syntax. But here, if you need something classic, this is where you get the classic sites. Now, I've been in SharePoint for a while. There was a time that I would have said, you may still need to go back to these classic sites quite a bit. Now, because of the maturity of the SharePoint modern sites, you may need to go back, but most likely you won't need to go back to the classic sites. Also, you want to be careful with those classic sites because Microsoft is famous for deprecating things out of nowhere. They've been warning for a while that they may deprecate any classic site collections and site templates. So be warned that if you do go back to classic, you may all of a sudden be forced to go modern. So you might want to not use these if you really don't have to. But this is how you create those site collections. Once you click on one of those, choose it, name it, and all of that. Oh, actually, let me just go so you could just see that part of the form. So you choose one. Okay, so I just clicked on the, and I forgot about this. I'm glad I just clicked on it, the templates. So when you go to create a new team site, you have different templates from Microsoft that are available to you to choose from. So you can start from one of these looks or just use the standard team template. You can also have templates that are from your organization that your SharePoint designers or your SharePoint dev created, and now you have those templates. We don't have any here, but we could. Then for the communication site, again, we have different templates that we can go to. We can use, there's also the blank one, so we can just create a completely custom look and feel for the homepage of the site. We could also have ones that our organization created. Now, once you choose one of these things, it gives you kind of like a little preview of what you're going to get. You can see what's included. You could preview the site using that little button right there, and it gives you some of the site's capabilities as well as the ability to kind of scroll a bit on the site. Now, when I use the template, it is going to ask me to give it a name. Then I give it a name, and then it creates it. Once it starts creating it, you'll see it appear in the list, and there'll be like a little spinny thing or a bar that's showing the progress of the thing being created. You just wait for it to be created, and once it's created, then you're able to open up the settings and control any of the settings for any of the sites that you created. So you could just click on the name right here, but don't click on this if you want the settings. If you click on this, it will actually open up the page instead of opening up the settings or panel like we see here. Or you could just click in the space between the words, and that'll also open up the panel. Or check box, and that'll also open up the panel. And then you have a few different things. Now, this is a Teams. So there is the membership might look a little bit different here when we get to that spot. But here's the basic information. Here's the site info, the description, if there's any channel sites, since this is the Teams, the address, the site address, which you can click on that and that will open up the site itself and all the other information, including hubbing, which we'll talk about in a second. And it tells you what kind of template this is. This came off of a team site template that was created by creating the teams. Here's some of the activities. And then the membership. So when you have a site that is SharePoint only, you won't see this owner members thing. You'll only see these here. These two control the teams that's on the front end. And then these are the access for the permissions groups for the SharePoint on the back end. So you can kind of have a separation between when you create a Teams, you may create a Teams that, when you create a Teams, it creates a SharePoint site collection. And you may want to use the Teams part for internal use and the SharePoint for external to the team. So maybe like HR. HR has the HR teams that was set up that created the HR site collection behind the scenes. That HR teams is used by the HR team to do their internal talks, their planning and all of that, but nobody else is invited into that teams. But then everybody else are maybe site members. And then in the SharePoint site, that's where it's the data that and the content that they're sharing with the rest of the company. Just to give you kind of a little bit of an understanding on how you could do that separation. Okay, there's also the settings here, like letting people outside of the organization email this team. If you have a team that you're sharing with people externally, then you might want to make sure this is checked. Making sure that people get copies of what's being sent out. The privacy settings, the sensitivity label, which you can't change it here. Also the external file sharing capability. So I could say that file sharing can only be to existing guests or only to people in my organization, or it could be to anyone. And then the conversations, allow members to edit the sent messages and allow members to delete sent messages. You also have the email up here for emailing the team, the opening for opening this in Teams instead of in SharePoint, the view site, which opens it in SharePoint because it's a site, and the ability to delete it. Now I'll just show you really quickly how it looks for something that's not a Teams. All of this stuff basically looks the same. Oh, except for down here, if you might have noticed, there was no channels here listed. The membership. Oh, this one is lying. It's a group. Okay, so this one isn't a team, but there's this holdover thing called the Office 365 group, which kind of was the precursor to Teams, and it's still kind of around. So sometimes you're going to see this until Microsoft cleans it up. What I think is going to happen is going to become infrastructure. Microsoft has already kind of said it's going to become infrastructure. So this might not be the representation of it later. But if you notice up here, there's no view in Teams button because it's not a Teams. But I have these two things because it's an Office 365 group, not strictly a SharePoint site collection. And then I have my settings again here. All right. Another thing that you all will want to know is about being able to hub the site collections together. So for those of you who may be in SharePoint now or may or may not know this, SharePoint used to have the ability, and you actually can still do it, have the ability to create subsites. So you would create a site collection and you would have a bunch of subsites underneath. The problem with that, though, is that organizations change structure at times, and especially for enterprise organizations, one department could report to this wing of the company, but then all of a sudden it gets shifted over here to a different part of the company. That made it really hard for SharePoint developers to keep up with trying to move the whole sub-site collection into another site collection, from one site collection into another site collection. So now it's best practice not to create sub-sites. The best practice is to create everything as a site collection and then hub them together. The way you hub them together so that they become the kind of hub and spoke, or kind of site and sub-site look and feel, but aren't really site and sub-site, is to do this. So you check the box next to it. This one actually has already been hubbed. So let me choose something else that has not. That one shouldn't have been hubbed. Okay. So you choose your site and then you go to hub and then you say register as a hub site if you want it to be the parent, or you associate it with a hub if you want it to be the child of another parent. So if I register the hub site, there's the name of it. And then you could put in here people who can associate sites with this hub. So, you know, if other SharePoint developers are around, you probably want to let them be able to hub sites. If there are SharePoint admins around, you might want to allow them to hub, especially if they own these sites. There should be more than one SharePoint site collection admin, at least more than one SharePoint administrator. Because if you only have one and something happens to that one person or they're off, there's problems. So you want to make sure you have some duplication, but don't duplicate too much. But anyway, you might want to give certain people the ability to hub sites to this hub or to take away sites from the hub. I'm not going to do that one right now, but I'm also going to show you how to associate with a hub. So if there's hub sites that are already parents out there, you could say, I want to associate this site with, to be under the company home, or maybe under this site, or under leadership, or under this site. So you can structure them in a way by configuring the hub settings so that they look like they're site and sub-sites, but they're easily moved from one place to another whenever things change. Okay, let's lose. Okay. All right, now I said that I would show y'all the individual sharing settings, and this is where you get them. When you check the box next to the site and you click on sharing, if you needed to have different external sharing settings for this site collection as opposed to all the other site collections, you can have specific sharing settings for the specific site collection, and this is how you change them. You can also reset back to the organizational site settings, organizational level settings, if things change and now you need to reset everything back. But you can set individual external sharing settings on individual site collections using that. And then there's the delete button, of course, so you can delete the site. Again, it goes to the recycle bin and it stays there for 93 days unless you permanently delete it. You could search sites using this search box. And then, of course, there's some filters here if you wanted to see only sites connected to Teams, or all the M365 group sites that, like I was talking about, or sites without a group, or classic sites. So you can kind of filter that way as well. Okay. All right. So that is basically the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions or have anything they want me to go over? All right, I see some clapping. So I'll go ahead and give way to Harry so he can introduce and let Eric start speaking. But thank you so much, everyone, for the time. And if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free and put them in the chat window as we go along. and I will try to answer them. Just mention Nakia Carter, or my team will answer. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Nikia, on the insight into SharePoint. Before we get to Eric, let's take a live real-time collaboration with SharePoint.
NASCAR sanctions 1,500 events across 11 different racing series, where we're hitting 110 racetracks in 37 states in the US. Just envision the Super Bowl, but 38 weekends a year.
Every week, the broadcast goes live at a certain time. We have to be ready. There's no delay. In the past, getting accurate, up-to-date information for crew members and vendors that aren't on our network was more of a challenge. If I wasn't sending hundreds of emails, I would be making phone calls. We would share static copies of documents that would go back and forth, and then having one actual correct version was next to impossible.
Communication has to be spot on and efficient and quick and accurate. So as we started the transformation of Office 365, we really went ahead and redid our intranet site. We call it Inside Track, which is built on the new SharePoint.
PowerUps has given us the ability to build cross-platform rich mobile applications connected to SharePoint in a matter of days instead of weeks.
Now with SharePoint, it's totally changed the way we do business. We have the ability to push the information so that people can get it when they need it.
We've really been able to standardize on a platform and lower operational and support costs while delivering a quality product to everybody at the same time. Now that we're leveraging Office 365, we're able to really take our talent and focus on more sophisticated technical operations as we try to transform NASCAR for the next 5 or 10 years.
Using SharePoint allows our team to be a team.
Our partnership with Microsoft has been a huge win. Utilizing Office 365 and SharePoint Online have allowed us to really focus on making great racing that our fans are excited to watch.
All right. Close this out. All right, now y'all just have to see some real time how you use SharePoint in real life in corporations across the states and across the world, actually. Some of these things can be implemented in Ghana on various projects. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have case studies on companies using it in Ghana and helping improve Ghana. But without further ado, I'm pleased to announce we have a guest speaker. Why isn't this thing working for me? All right, so we have Art. Or every time I get this, Wafay. Sorry about that if I butchered your name, Art. You're not just called by his first name, but he's ready to speak. So I'm gonna be passing on to him.
Okay, Mr. Harry, thank you very much. It's Eric Liape. So I think I'll give you 90 over 100. Please give me thumbs up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Give me thumbs
I appreciate
up
that.
if you can hear. Okay. So I think I'm audible enough because Mr. Henry just replied that. So please, you have a partner, Eric, currently level 400 students in the University of Peoples of Ghana. And as mentioned, I'm also the CEO of Tech for Everyone. Our mission is to bridge the gap between less privileged communities such as schools and the latest technology. So today I'm going to talk much about Baobab, an amazing platform. So let me just keep quiet and share my screen and let's start. Okay, so sharing my screen now. Okay. Okay, so please, I would like to get some thumbs up if my screen is sharing so that I can proceed with my presentation. Okay, thank you very much for that interaction. Okay, so okay, no problem. Let me just. Okay, so welcome once again. So today we're going to talk about Baobab. So Baobab made for and by Africans. So this is the first social media platform that I've seen so far made by an African community, right? So I was saying that this amazing platform. So it's made for particularly African community. And when you go there, you see a lot of Africans there, you interact. So today we are going to dive deep into what this platform offers, and as a young leader, African leader, how you can make good use of this platform. So this is the homepage of Baobab. They said the power of Baobab is in our network, right? So the power of Baobab is in our network. So Baobab, as I said, is a social, professional learning community for young African leaders, participants, and alumni of MasterCard Foundation program. So Baobab was evolved from numerous MasterCard foundations. So these alumni came up. Initially, it was for the MasterCard scholars, but it get to a time they open it to the public for everyone to join, whether you are alumni or you are benefiting from MasterCard or not. So let's look at today. Our overview will be very simple. We'll go through what Baobab is, how you can join, right? Because why are we even announcing this? You like to join, right? So we talk about how you can join, how you can set your profile, and we'll look at some of the amazing features that you really love it. Yeah, jot it somewhere because the features is amazing. We also look at how you can networking on Baobab and why you should join Baobab today. So as I said, Baobab is social professional learning community for young. So I've said this one already. So now you know what Baobab is. And Baobab traditionally is more like a tree, right? It's more like a tree. You can do more research about that. So this is the platform. The link, I'll put the link in the video description. It's a nice platform. You just create an account, sign up. I've also made some videos that will walk students through because sometimes when you are signing up, it's a little bit challenging. So I made a video then where sometimes I share with students. So this is the login platform that you log in just like any other social media platform. So this is see how nice my but before that, let me try to see those of us who are on Baobab so that I'll know the kind of community I'm dealing with. If none of you are on Baobab, then after this, but I just want to know, maybe you can say yes or you raise up your hand, something like that. Do you have some Baobab? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Ah, uh, like, am I audible all the time?
Yes, you
Okay,
are on.
okay.
We can hear you all the time.
Yes, yes, you're on, Eric.
Sure, sure, sure. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so let me share this one. Sorry for that. Okay, so let me just continue with my presentation to make it very simple. So, Baobab is just like I always say that this LinkedIn for Africans. So it's similar to LinkedIn. So this is the my profile. So you just like how other social media registration works. So you have to set your profile. In this case, is your headline, where you live. So for now, I'm in Cape Coast, but I'm originally from Eastern Region, Ghana. Everything, my date, my birthday is also there. They will also ask you some questions concerning who you are, how you joined Baobab, and other few questions. So I also have a particular video, the same video that I was talking about. So you have to upload a professional headshot picture, fill the blank space. That's about your location, date, personal interest, and headline. So let's move on to the feature. So this feature is the feed feature. Unlike just like other social media feature. So let me just show you the practical aspect. So just like this, you just come to the platform, and this is the feature. So the feature, it shows you some of the recent posts by other African countries. So we have Kenyans there, we have people from all over the world. So this is the future. They share about community, they share about healthcare, medicine. They share a lot of stuff, critical thinking. You can see for yourself. So this is the feed that I'm talking about. And you can find a lot of people. You can connect with a lot of Africans from all over the world, from Kenya, from Rwanda, from Uganda. You just mentioned it. So that's for the features for the feed feature. So you can share your success story, pictures, quotes, as I said. You can also view other people's posts as well. This one is the most important thing that I really value Baobab, right? They have courses there. And it will amaze you that their courses, one thing I realize about, Africa is that because of colonization, it's like when you look into our educational system, we don't have African education. I don't know whether I may be wrong, but we don't have African education, something target to African. It's like we are always referring to the Americans and the Europeans because they colonized us. But I think this platform also like bridge that gap. They are trying to see the problem that we have in Africa, and they have provide some courses that you can take, right? So they give you a wide range of relevant courses tailored to the universities and professionals. So after completion of these courses, you get certificates without any cost. So maybe I'll walk you through one or two courses that you can benefit from. So there are courses cut across a lot. So there are courses so let me also come back to our education. Our education is more like let me use mine for example, less practical. You have to do nowadays with advancement of technology that you can watch YouTube videos and go to Udemy and other stuff. But if you base on what we have been taught, I'm not saying it's not enough, but it's more like theory and we lack practicals. So their courses are very, very good. I've taken about 3 of them, and it's unique from other courses because it's tailored. One thing I realized that some of us, we learn, maybe we are not in Ghana or we are not in Africa, and we learn something and we want to apply it here. I realized that whenever you want to do anything in a particular country or a culture. You have to learn their culture. How would the people even think? How they approach problems? How slow they are. So they are all important. And I found when I'm learning these courses, I found that they have tailored the course to suit the need of Africa. So let me just run you through. So you get courses from foundational skills, entrepreneurial skills, which is very, very important. Africa, we need a lot of entrepreneurs. Okay, so we also have courses on STEM knowledge and skill, digital skills, 21st century skills, which is very, very important. And work readiness skills, transformative leadership. So let me just walk you through one or two courses that I've completed or is available right from here. When you sign up, you can also benefit from these courses. Let's hope my internet didn't. Okay, so you can see they have range of courses. As I said, they have some minutes. So this welcome to this one course on its own, and the topic that I will be talking about is transformative leadership. So all these are about leadership. What is transformative leadership? It takes you 60 minutes to finish 5 common leadership. So these are the foundational skills that I was talking about, how to study effectively. And their courses are research based, right? So like everything, they give you research that they have available, how to learn, and a lot of skills. I think I wrote in my diary that I'll complete about 10 of these courses before this year end. I've only completed 8 months ago anyway. So it's a lot. The STEM, which is very important. So the STEM talks about Python. You spend almost 600 minutes on it. So I can't just I can go on and on and on. So I think you get what I'm trying to say. They have an amazing courses over here. And this is one of the things that I think everyone should join Baobab. And their courses are also tailored to African problems. Okay, so they also have another section. So they share opportunity always. So under the feature section, you are able to share. So if you want to share opportunity, you can share opportunities to other users to access. Right, so that's what maybe you be a creator, so you can also add to the community. Maybe have you are looking for internship, interns rather, you can share it there. So that's it for the opportunity. So scholarship opportunities too are there. Partnership, so you can find people who are doing maybe what you are doing, then you can partner and do it bigger, right? So that's for the opportunity. So they are all features here. So the opportunity, you can find it here. And you see some people have been sharing jobs from all over Africa. Some are from Uganda. They are always sharing opportunities on this platform. So that's why I said this is LinkedIn for Africa. Sure. So here you can see some of the opportunities. So this is a training at Berkeley, in-person US. Okay, so you can apply, you can share with someone. There's also internship opportunity. I think you can apply if you want to, right? So they have a lot of opportunity on this platform, and people have been always sharing, and you can take advantage of it. Okay, so let's move on. I want to come back to my people, whether you can hear me or everything is okay. Give me some reaction so that I can keep on going. Okay, sure. Okay, so let's finish it. Okay, so that's for the opportunity section on Baobab. Okay, so let's talk about Baobab mentorship. So Baobab, so I initially I said that Baobab is more like was evolved from the alumni of MasterCard Foundation. So MasterCard is doing a lot of investment into the education of so many Africans. And these alumni, those who have benefited, created this platform. So these alumni or people who have been able to further their education through MasterCard Foundation, they are also helping others, right? They are helping someone like me who I'm in school that I'm trying to get intensive opportunity. They will mentor me as well. So every student on this platform can be assigned to a mentor that will mentor that person. I don't want to talk much about that. So let's look at it. Why should anyone or any university student should join Baobab? Or what are some of the benefits that they will get from it? So as I said initially, opportunities, so job opportunity, internship opportunities, funding and scholarship. So MasterCard do a lot of scholarship programs from a lot of universities. The one that I know is about 15 universities. It's more than that, but one that I know that sometimes I help people applying for is about 15 universities. So they are always posting it there. So if you are there, you can get opportunity. As I showed you, there were some job opportunities, internship opportunities as well. I also talk about mentorship, personal development. So the personal development aspects come from the courses that you'll be taking on this platform. They have courses all around, right? Critical thinking, STEM, and leadership. These are skills that we have to embrace, but we don't have much of these skills or courses in our education, especially my education. Maybe it will be different from anyone else. So it also serves, so you see, this is a platform for Africans, and all Africans from different parts of the world are joining. So now, because of this platform, I have friends in Uganda, Cameroon, Kenya, Rwanda. Why? Because of this platform. I push something, they are interested, and sometimes we even work on a project to help the continent, right? So this is a platform for networking and collaboration. One thing, let's look at some of the features of this platform. So, Africa, when you take according to colonization, most of the people, African people, speak either French or English, right? So because they wanted to make this very diversified, so they have a section whereby you can change the language that you are familiar with, which is English or French. They have some messaging platform that you can also message someone. I have all of them here. So let me show you very quick. So this is my messages so far and my notification. I think I posted recently. Yeah. So you can message someone on this platform, and they have a nice section that you can even embed your LinkedIn platform and your website on this platform, so people can directly click on your profile, and it will direct them to your LinkedIn platform, and they will connect with you there as well. I'll try to show you how mine looks. Then maybe okay. So that's mine. So you can see now I have my LinkedIn, I have my website here. So it's more like LinkedIn. So what I'm doing right now, I'm reading IT. I did data science. I'm a junior data. All my experiences are here, and you can see all of them. So when I click here, it will directly send me to my profile. In this case, if someone want to connect with me, they just have to click this one, and boom, it will direct them to my profile, and they can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so we have talked about a notification where maybe when I push something, someone likes, someone comments, I can see this one. So how can you join Baobab? So Baobab have an app which is on all the platforms. That's the Apple Store and the Play Store, which is the Google Play Store. So you can just type Baobab Platform and you can search it, and you can also be part of this family by already start signing up. Okay, so as I said, why students must join Baobab. So it brings together a long list of professional development course in transformative leadership, entrepreneurship, hard and soft skills for the workforce. So I think I've said this one already. It's also experts give advice or mentor naive students on some of the opportunities. So mentorship is more like they you are taking people to where you are, right? So it's like people who are located some unique way scholarship, as I said earlier. Okay, that's all right for you today. Thank you very much for getting time to listen to what I have to share. I hope, and after this program, you would and less or
I think you're breaking up, Eric.
hello. Am
All
I
right, we
audible?
can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Thank you very much for that, Eric. A very powerful platform. Let me ask you a question. How much traction has it got so far?
Okay, so according to statistics, I think about 2 months ago, they have 50,000 African on that platform, and we are still promoting it. So me particularly, what I'm doing is that in my university, most students don't know about it. So this slide I'm presenting, when I have the chance, when I go to some seminars, I talk about it. Sometimes I do present it solely for them to also benefit from it, because I know I've been getting a lot of opportunity from that platform. Yes. So
Okay.
50,000 people so far.
Okay, because this is a game changer. Because if we could set up if that runs and we're able to collaborate through this system like that, and it's predominantly within Africa, that's a game changer. Okay.
Definitely.
That's nice. Anybody else have any questions for her? All right. This is a very powerful platform, and I advise everyone to support it. If you use it, get it. Eric, I will be getting in contact with you myself on getting some more information on it for our company as well. But thank you very much for that. So now we're gonna go into the phase. We're gonna do a little collaboration. Um, Normally we would do a breakout room. It's 12 of us. So let's see. I'll put you in breakout rooms and we'll run it for about 30 minutes and then come back and discuss. And today's topics today we'll be discussing are how can we help grow? How do you think we can get more Ghanaians engaged in tech communities? How do you think the tech presentation today can be applied in the communities? Introduce yourself, your name, location, your tech field, and company school would be appreciated as well. I would break you off into breakout groups, but this group is small enough where so we could just have an open discussion now. So let's start with anyone have any suggestions on how we can further our goals in reaching others with tech in Ghana as Ghana began to start to change and grow. Anyone? Anyone? One? One? All right. I see Eric has his hands up.
Okay. I think that's a brilliant question because
Hmm.
yeah, I think let me share a little experience about what I hear on campus. So some people will be like, Eric, you are reading IT, right? Like I chose that course anyway. So like people have fraction because they know that IT
Hmm.
is the future. Right? So I think I just feel like maybe the way that we can get people attention on the news is creating more content about tech opportunities, why tech is the future. So first of all, content, and also the content can be in the form of courses or
Hmm.
a course that maybe enroll, regardless of educational background, you can enroll, and maybe each 1 week, 1 month, they can get a little bit certificates because I've been there before. When students, you have that kind of reward scheme for them, they really do well, they really perform and learn. So these are some of, from my point of view, I think some of the things, create more content, courses, and engage students and people to join.
Thank you for that, Eric. Thank you. I believe in a each one teach one policy. If I learn something, it's my duty to teach my brother and my sister, my children, my wife. Um, as things move forward in Ghana, as we see things changing over time, we know there's a fear in Ghana of how will technology change my life or change our lives from the traditional manner of our lives. And one of the goals through building up or teaching others tech in Ghana is to help quell that fear and show that these technologies can be helpful a lot more than harmful. It can be used in a harmful way, yes, but it's more helpful than harmful. It's more helpful when you are able to determine what are your sales this month is versus last month versus the months to come. It's helpful when you have your organization organized to where as though you have control over your sales and your finances. Um, these collaborational tools are meant to help ease our lives, not make it hard. So it's the same scenario as the wheel. When the wheel first came out, it was wood, and then it went from wood to plastic, and then from plastic to rubber. And now we have, I don't know what the tire is made out of now. With so many chemicals in the tire, we have no idea. It can't even be broke down no more. So it's the same principle. As we grow, things change, we learn, we adapt. So the goal is to get everyone to adapt in Ghana through community groups like this and other platforms, just like Eric was just saying. So I will hope that each one will go out and tell someone else about this platform. And if other people has platforms that's trying to do the same thing, get them in contact with us so we would combine and we could build bigger and make it a bigger platform. We can reach every corner of Ghana. So with that said, anyone else?
Okay, let me add something small to it. So I'm Segui Sando, CTO of NTC Tech. I'm also a solutions developer. So I believe one way to grow tech in Africa, especially Ghana, is it all starts from the government. I believe the government should take the initiative. The government should implement policies and regulations that will make it easy to an environment that will make it easy for the tech industry to do whatever they want to do. So it's all about the government embracing tech, moving from paper-based to actually using things like SharePoint, like what we talked about, using intranet, going straight to digital. So if the government is able to embrace tech, it will boil down to the citizens. The citizens will actually also embrace it. And the education system too. They should make sure they invest in education programs focused on technology, because it all starts from the educating the people on technology, what technology can do, how technology can boost the economy, how they can get jobs from technology. So the government making sure they are implementing policies in the education system, going to the villages, educating its people about technology. And that's one of the ways that we can grow technology in Africa. And also investing in infrastructure. One main thing that technology is based on is the internet connectivity, because without this infrastructure, the internet connectivity, like what we faced, what happened, was it last month with the network issues? We need to make sure we improve on those things. That's going to drive technology.
Thank you for that, Sigu. Also, another thing is to invest in innovation. Just one thing I love about Ghana is, though you're adapting technologies that already exist, that technology was built to service other places. It was not built directly to service Africa. So those things can be revamped. You know, just because you started off with a certain kind of wheel don't mean it's going to end that way. Just like the platform Eric was speaking about. That is a new innovation that's built for Africa. So those things like that, invested in it and growing it and helping it mature, is another good way of exploring growth in Africa and technology. Okay. Someone put something in the chat. Okay. No problem. we're here every month, and eventually we'll hear from you. We will definitely hear from you. So, well, does anyone else have anything to contribute or want to say at this time? At least introduce yourself. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I appreciate. Okay, there you go. Go for it.
yeah. This is Lewin Wanzer. I'm based in the U.S. and been I've worked with Nakia before, so she invited me here, and it's very interesting that you're having this conversation today. But I'm seeing a lot of trends in SharePoint right now where it looks like a lot of the companies are they're using it, but it's like everybody's moving towards all the automation, AI. They're forgetting, just the administration's still there, but I believe they're putting the tech jobs are moving on to like higher level, developer, no code, and just I don't know how we get there. I'm definitely would like to be involved, but it just seems like it's bypassing the basics of SharePoint now, and is more so getting to that next level. How do you train someone to recognize the basics of SharePoint, but then now they're asking for this level. So
Yes.
and I know every it's more about getting your country to be more technology savvy, but there has to be that cutting edge point of that too, because you want to be able to compete in the market. You want to be, if your country is competing, you want to be able to get data back quickly. You want to be able to move, have things, that make your companies grow and move quickly as other countries are doing the same thing. So, so I just wanted to add that because I'm seeing a big change. Last year in 2023, I lost every contract I had. and I think it was because of AI, because everybody's trying to figure out how they're going to implement it into their companies, and it was like everybody took a pause. So so
Yeah.
I just want to add that because it's just really interesting what's going on now. And I'm not seeing many, you see, some SharePoint administrator, but everything is always about it's always about that next level. You have to have, instead of wearing one badge, you got to have 8 badges now just to get a job. And so with that, you want, if you're starting out and you're trying to get people on board, you got to be quick with your how you teach and what you teach. You got to show the shortcuts and try to get people that understand, a little bit maybe just about databases, and have some type of thing to come to the table with, so you can kind of massage what they know to build in what they don't know. So I don't know, I just wanted to add that because I'm seeing some weird stuff going on right now, just in everybody's just in the companies that I work for. And I don't know, this AI thing is just really shaking a lot of stuff up.
It's everywhere, and everybody's talking about Copilot and AI. And I actually had a discussion with a Microsoft rep the other day, and they pushing Copilot AI. But so I'll say, okay, so how are you pushing that when a lot of these folks that has 365, they just got document libraries, and they got 3 departments in one document library. They don't have their entire system ain't set up for it or nothing. So how is it that we gonna put the cart before the horse?
That's too. And then also, I don't know if you work with Microsoft Syntex yet, but I did a contract with BP, and I used Syntex to do some some of the work. They were trying to tag their documents because they had such a bloated storage in SharePoint. They were trying to figure out what was going on, and they wanted to figure out how to, put retention policies on their documents and stuff. And that's all AI too. So syntax is AI, and I believe there's some leeway in a lot of these companies, because a lot of people moved. They migrated to use ShareGate. They migrated everything to the cloud, but they migrated everything not knowing what they migrated. Because like at BP, they had the documents in 2003, and their storage was just bloated. They had all kinds of duplicates and files they didn't need, like exes and stuff. So I mean, they had a lot of cleanup. So there's some work out there for that too. I mean, for
Yes,
for company cleanup. Yeah.
Yes, it's massive work out there because, like I said, even last year, I think last year they was pushing Viva on everything. Everything was Viva, Viva,
Oh,
Viva, Viva. I mean, it was so everybody was Viva, Viva, but they didn't realize that Viva gotta read your system. In order for it to help you with your company, it has to read the stuff within your company. If your stuff ain't tagged, you don't have metadata, you don't have any of these things
yeah.
going on in your system, it ain't reading it. It's not going to read any of it. It's only going to give you what's going on the outside of your company and not help you what's going on the internal of your company. So,
Right.
I mean, it is
Right.
right now, it is a lot of work out there getting people ready just to keep up
Oh yeah.
with AI. So, yeah.
Yeah, and
So learning
that's what I'm
is where
saying.
it's at.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to add, that's a really big thing. I mean, because I'm just seeing it everywhere. Just trying to get, and you can't even use it, like you said. You can't use AI if you don't have your document tagged. They don't have no metadata because AI don't know what it is.
Right. It can't
Yeah.
read nothing. Yeah. I did actually we went it was a conference at the Microsoft building in Seattle, maybe about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And I get in there, it's like 80, 90 people in there. And all I'm in there talking about how they want how Copilot can do this for them and do that. And then only thing they stuck to was how Copilot can help you write a slide and help you with writing documents. But then when they went to how can it help me keep my organization going? How can it streamline and grab data? They had to pause. Is your stuff modernized? If it ain't, if it's not modernized, you lost.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's what we've been pushing that for a minute now. Modernize your system before you decide to jump because you're just gonna waste your money.
Yeah, they wasting money. People in there wasting hours because they gotta categorize stuff where you can move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like trying to get virtual agent. If you got you want to get a bot, you still got to put that information in that bot. That bot still have to read your system. So yeah.
And sometimes you dodge that data because if the data is not tagged, like I had this one customer wanted me to do a Copilot for their PowerShell library, and I'm like, if your PowerShell is not tagged all the way through, I'm not going to be able to find the stuff that you want. And so I had to go out and look at all the data first, and look at all the scripts, and then put some comments in the scripts so the AI would understand what this was being used for. It's crazy, man. Yeah.
I hope everybody hearing that system governance is the way to the future. Is the way in.
Oh, that's the big thing.
Yep, system governance. So, well, it looks like we're coming up on time. I really appreciate everyone showing up today. Let me see. I believe we have our hashtags and our QR codes. Let me put up our QR codes. So let me share. Seems like every time I'm about to present something, want to break, like my mouse want to go up or post this. Share. Right. All right. So, hope you enjoyed your learning and networking with us today. So, I will hope that you give us some feedback. You can use these QR codes here to log into our system. If you want to go back and pull up the video and review the video later on, we keep out the videos of every month that we do a community call. We keep them in storage so that you can go back and review them later on. I will appreciate it very much. You leave a comment if you want to be a speaker or you want to volunteer. I would appreciate that too. Appreciate that as well. And with that said,
Harry,
spread the word. Yes.
hi, this is Carnegie Johnson. I was late to the meeting, but
Hey, how you
I'll
doing?
make the next up. Hey, good, man. And I just want to say hello to everyone and make sure we connect on LinkedIn. And I was hoping that could we get the link in the chat? I'm QR challenged for the video,
Okay.
so I can and then get what I missed.
No problem.
Thank you.
Figure, could you put that in the chat for me, please?
All right,
Zora?
we'll do that.
All right. Appreciate it. All right, and we'll be sending out registry for next month. We advise you to. We appreciate if you register for next month. We may change the time to a little bit later. We may not, but we'll be sending out information. We're trying to get a good time for everybody to, drive our numbers up. So the more people we have inside these community calls, the more knowledge we can spread. So with that said, y'all have a good night. See you next time.